So something really exciting happened today was I bumped into two guys that were wearing rainbow shirts and they seemed to be under the spell of effeminate men. Maybe they were homosexuals. I don't really give a crap. It's not my life. I'm nobody to judge. But as I looked at them, I had compassion on them, and the Lord told me to go and talk to them. And so I immediately went over there and I did. And I talked to them and I said, "Look, guys, I'm not trying to bash you over the head." First, we had a little small talk. I said, "Look, I'm not somebody to bash anybody with my beliefs, but I just want to say that I used to be a real dirtbag. I'm not saying you guys are dirtbags, but I was a real dirtbag. And, Jesus came into my life and really blessed me and just changed me in so many ways in a positive way. And if you ever feel the need or you ever get the itch to learn about him, I just want to invite you to know Jesus Christ." And I said, with that, I hope you guys, have a good day, the rest of your guys' day. And they were surprisingly cool. They were like, "Hey, thanks, man. Like, have a good day." And I was like, "Cool." You know, Again, I'm not really somebody to push it down anybody's throat. It's not my job. I just have to share my testimony and give them an invitation to learn. And maybe they've never been approached like that in their life because most Christians don't do that type of work. They're sitting in the pews and they're not, actually going out there with people that will never walk into a church. They'll never, look into these things. So then I went to another place and I saw another guy and I told him, I said, "Hey, look, I just felt led to share, to give you an invitation about Jesus Christ. I used to break into cars, be hooked on all kinds of things, and Jesus Christ really blessed my life, and I just want to extend this invitation to you. If you ever want to learn about him, I highly recommend it." And he was another cool guy. He said, "Yeah, okay." He's like, "Hey, thank you." And I was actually kind of shocked by that. He was like, "Hey, thank you," he said. And so I thought that was interesting. And this week, along with, obviously, you guys know I like to approach and talk to women, but I love that, God is also using this confidence for his glory to actually share my testimony in ways that I never used to. But it's like, hey, if I could face my fears in every area of my life, it's going to translate into another area. And I realize that's what God's doing inside of me. I don't know, I might be a full-time evangelist someday, but I realize that I'm not afraid to talk to people about Jesus Christ. And that feels really good. And I'm so proud of myself for doing that. It's something I would never do in the past. And I highly recommend it to anybody else to really go out there and just keep, you don't have to, bash them over the head. You don't have to linger forever. Just keep it nice, short, and sweet. And if the Spirit leads a conversation, they will. They will talk more. I talked about this guy that told me he was a miracle baby, and he's the one that opened up. He opened up after I opened up, and it was like we both opened up, and it was like there was a reason I had to approach him. He told me he was a miracle baby, and he was never supposed to see or walk. And I said, "Hey, well, maybe that's why I had this impression I wanted to talk to you about Jesus Christ. I just want to extend that invitation to you." And he was really cool too. He said, "Hey, thank you." And so I'm actually really surprised with how people have been reacting, and I'm really proud of myself for listening. And the more you do things that are uncomfortable and scare you, the more and more confidence you're gonna get. And that's all we're all after. Nobody has too much confidence. Everyone's trying to feel the best in their own skin that they can be. And I think I found a recipe for my life is if something scares me, I'll go do it scared. Don't cower away. I used to cower away and be scared. But if you can still act, even though you're scared, that's what makes you strong. That's what gives you confidence. And that's what makes you feel good in your own skin. And that's how everyone wants to feel. That's why women wear makeup. That's why men buy all these things that we don't need, is because we're trying to find some deeper confidence that we lack. And I want to share one story of just a great interaction I had. I saw this just beautiful woman, and I was immediately attracted to her in her just graceful way and her beauty, her femininity. And I wanted to make myself known to her. And so I followed her into an aisle, and she knew I was following her, so she sped up and went into another aisle. Kind of hard to describe, but then she stopped, and then it's just so hard to describe the situation, but I can't describe the situation, but I know that she stopped at one point because she knew that I was following her, and then she was okay, you kind of chased, and I went away, and then you were persistent. So she rewarded my persistence with a stopping, and so then I went up to her and I started looking at things like right next to her and kind of pushing her out of the way a little bit. She goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, sir." And I go, "Oh, no problem, no problem." I'm like, "What are you looking at?" And she goes, "Oh," and then she was looking at like this doctor outfit. I'm like, "What are you, a doctor?" She's like, "No, I'm a nurse." I'm like, she's like, "Why are you looking at this thing?" I go, "Oh, well, my girlfriend's a nurse," and she kind of gave a little laugh. And then I was like, "Oh, and by the way, like, why do you let me just like push you around a little bit? Like, why do you just let me push you around like this?" And then I went up to her and like gave her like a little bump. Like I kept like bumping her. I'm like, "You gotta like push me and say, hey, get out of my way, sir. You're in my space, sir." And she was just like giggling and just open and very just, and and then I said, "Oh, I said you're weak. I said you're kind of weak. You gotta push me. You gotta punch me." And then she just very cutely was like, "Get out of here, sir," with like a smile. And we just had this cool connection. It's not in my head. I know that she was feeling it. She was loving that I was taking control of the situation, and I was making myself known. And I didn't linger forever, and I didn't try to make a huge connection. "Hey, what's your phone number?" I just wanted to give her an interaction where she knew that somebody was pursuing her and somebody valued her and thought she was beautiful. And then I just wanted to go on my way and leave the interaction, and because you know what, there's a million women out there. Don't try to like lock one in so fast. Just have fun with them. Just have a little tease, a little banter, and then keep moving. But she was open. I probably could have went a little longer with her. And the craziest part is I wasn't even nervous at all around her. It just felt so natural. There was nothing I had to say that was too insane. It was just, then we had like body contact. Like there was a point where all our bodies were just like touching, and it was just fun. And unless she doesn't think it was fun, then she probably called the cops, and it's a good thing that I got out of there. Oh, but another thing I want to share was I saw this lady as I was walking into a store, and she kind of yawned, and she was like a heavy set woman, and she yawned. And I said, "Oh, you need a nap too?" Like just in passing. And she goes, "Why are you talking to me, sir?" And I was like, wow, that's kind of a crazy attitude to have. I didn't say anything. I walked away. But to push myself, I went back to her and I said, "Listen." No, I didn't say listen. I just said, "I will talk to whoever I want to talk to." And then she just went on a tangent. She just went off, and I remained calm, and I just kept it moving. I didn't want to get in some argument. I didn't want to make her feel threatened. I just wanted to let her know, you will not silence me. I will say and do whatever I want to do. And she now knows that. And so I thought it was crazy that she wasn't, attractive to me, but I still tried to give a little playful energy to her. But she returned to me with kind of venomous attitude. But then a more beautiful, feminine, friendly girl was very reciprocal, and she was great to deal with. So I think a lot of guys could learn from that is like, hey, sometimes people are just going through things, and if you just talk to some people and they treat you really bad and then you give up, you might just miss out that your next interaction is going to be just butterflies and fun and attraction and just smiles and just like a little eye contact. It's like, hey, we're looking at each other. So fight through the times where it's a little hard and the girls are kind of rough with you. That's what's going to make you strong. So anyways, I want to make this quick video. Happy Saturday night. I may or may not go out dancing tonight. And this time I'm not going to drink. I don't want to have one beer. I don't want to drink. I realized last night that drinking actually slowed me down. Drinking actually didn't make me feel any better. It made me feel worse. And so I'm gonna go and I'm not gonna drink, and I'm gonna be real proud of myself because I'm gonna push the boundaries, and I'm gonna do it completely sober. And maybe that's what I've been should have been doing this whole time. But yeah, so that's my story today, guys. I'm so proud of myself for talking to four guys actually so far this week about Jesus Christ. And I'm excited to see how God's going to use this evangelical spirit inside of me. I don't know what if something really cool happens? If I open up the right person and they give their life to Jesus Christ, or if I pray for somebody and they get a healing. I think that's kind of where Jesus is leading me to right now. I see that he's making me face my fears so that I can get out there in the world and be open and spread the gospel. So with that being said, take care.